The short answer is that I was Jewish, that I am Jewish and proud of it. To elaborate on that, I understood and I learned from a very young age what our people suffered through, whether we're talking about the Holocaust or things that happened well before then. And now that we finally have a military and a way of defending ourselves, I feel like the question is more of why wouldn't I? How could I not, with clear conscience, not fight to defend my people?
So it's 2008, you're in the infantry, you find yourself near the border with Gaza, and you lose your arm. What happened?
Well, I was actually sitting inside a base, inside a tent, waiting for orders to enter Gaza for the first time. This is about 2 weeks into the operation, when a mortar struck me directly. 120 millimeters, it hit me dead on.
And what happened? What did you feel in that moment? Did you lose consciousness?
No, the truth is my body decided to keep me awake. I don't know why, but I was awake from the moment that it happened until I was put to sleep for surgery nearly 40 minutes later. And I remember every single detail like an HD recording.
That must have been incredibly painful and traumatic for you. When you look at the many Israeli soldiers that are now on the front lines in Gaza, what are they going through? We hear about really fierce urban combat that they face. What is going through their minds? And are many of them 18 years old, like you were?
Well, other than the reservists, which do make up a large portion, all of them are between the ages of 18 and 21 years old. What are they going through? If it was up to them, they wouldn't be there. They're regular kids. They would rather be.
A lot of them were drafted. A lot of them were called up.
Almost all of them were drafted. Obviously not the lone soldiers like myself who decide to go over there and volunteer, but the Israeli citizens are drafted. They all have to serve. And they're doing what they're doing because otherwise we won't have a place to live. We won't have a country. They're protecting the citizens in the south that are under constant barrages of rocket fire.
When you see all the reports of the civilian casualties in Gaza and you've heard the criticisms, does that affect your view of this conflict?
It doesn't affect my view, but it definitely breaks my heart. I think it's terrible that Hamas is putting the civilians living in Gaza in such a terrible situation. They don't deserve to be used as human shields, to be indoctrinated from such a young age. I actually saw footage yesterday, terrifying footage, of Hamas members clubbing Palestinians that were trying to leave the areas that Israel was coming to attack. Israel warns every single time. They drop pamphlets, they make phone calls, and when Hamas members saw that these civilians were trying to leave, they were beating them with clubs so that they would stay. Very difficult to watch.
And yet, what the world sees is the numbers. What they see is a third of the casualties are children. They see the pictures of the children in the hospitals. How does that affect you as an Israeli American?
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult that the world isn't getting a clear picture of what's really going on there. Yes, there is a death toll, but it's not something that is on Israel's hands. It's not on the young soldiers, the brave men that are going in there to protect their people. It's Hamas that is throwing Palestinians at us like cannon fodder, and it's devastating.
And as you said, no Israeli soldier really wants to be there. Izzy Ezagwi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate your perspective.